Hey everyone, welcome back to the RPGames YouTube channel. My name is Ralph. We're still in our farming simulation world here in harvest time. In the previous episode I was grinding. I was able to get $250 together, so I'm gonna talk to Wild Poppy here and develop my farm, I guess. I see that you have the required amount of coins. Would you like to make a purchase? Yes. There is your new pasture rancher. There are quite a lot of rocks in it though, you'll need to do something about that. You're leveled up. It's fantastic. Hey rancher, I see that you're itching to begin your next task. Here it is, collect 5 piles of rocks from the pasture. Sun is shining, so let's stop slacking. Time to roll up those sleeves and get cracking. Collect 5 rocks. Is this the pasture? Or? Oh, it's this. Okay. Okay, we got that done. Let's see what the Wild Poppy is telling us now. I'm wondering what happens at level 8, because I think it turns into a paid game then. Yep, here we go. Cows in harvest time are real escape artists, you know. Your pasture definitely needs a fence. It will keep the animals from running away. Next job is to buy a fence for your pasture for 500 gold coins. You don't have enough coins to develop your farm. Come back when you gather the required amount. Okay. You mentioned that you have vanity items for sale. Can I buy anything from you? Yes, you can. What's more, my selection of goods expands every 5 levels. And get gardening tools or a cat. Okay, so what we need to do now is we need to get back to the village. We need to find the market with a specific person called Fruity Betty. See if we can find something that looks like a market. This looks like a market stall. That is Fruity Hilda. What a nice day. Do you know anything about the orange farmers? Only that they trade stuff with Betty. She might know more, she's Docker. You know, I overheard some players address her in a particular way. They lean over and say, "Show me your wares," very emphatically. Okay. What are you selling? Nothing at the moment. My trade channel is closed. Getting ready to take on town profession of a merchant. Currently, I'm practicing slogans. Looking for a player named Stanley. Well, her stand is next to mine, but I don't think her business is limited to selling fruit. Okay. That is Fruity Betty. Stallkeeper waved at me in a friendly manner, gestured towards her wares. Howdy, isn't it a beautiful day? The only thing that could make it better is some shopping. How about we support the orange folk? I'd like to support the orange folk by selling a couple of loot boxes and transferring the profits to their accounts. Is that possible? Of course, sweetheart. I'll take it all. The money will be transferred to your account in a couple of days after the auction. Excellent. Thanks for the help, Betty. Pleasure's all mine. From now on, you're one of my regulars and a friend, sweetheart. Tell me about the orange folk. They're very good clients, resourceful, exceptionally effective. They bring me wares, I sell them, transfer the money to their account. On the other hand, if you ask me my personal opinion, it wouldn't be as favorable. What do you really think of them? Well, I spoke to Aki, that handsome fellow. He told me everything. They're drug addicts. The game is their virtual rehab and Aki is their supervisor. I see that you have a lot of goodies. Do they all come from your farm? I haven't grown myself in a while. I buy all of it from other players and from the game's warehouse. Can you make a living off selling crops in a game based on farming? Why would anyone buy stuff when they can grow it themselves? Can't grow everything from the start, and my fruit will get you seeds that develop your ranch faster. Just try them, they're delicious. Besides, I have access to the RMAH auctions. That's where I sell rare items from loot boxes. That's where the real money is. Show me your wares, what happens then? Betty winked at me knowingly. I have a firearm for 5,000 coins, are you interested? Thanks, but I can't afford it. Okay. So that is that. We need to speak to both four. But let me jump into the well first and talk to Stanley. Alright, Stanley, get your ass over here. Howdy, cowgirl. I can see you've wandered off the trail. Oh, is this one of the admins? I'm the sheriff in this town. Not many players know about this place, especially newcomers. What brings you here? Wild West, Sheriff. It all added up. What do you want? Doing Stanley a favor. He's a friend of mine. He asked me to talk to you on his behalf, if you don't mind, of course. But before I do, allow me to proceed with the formalities. He straightened up and cleared his throat. As the Sheriff of High Rock, I'd like to officially welcome you to our community. I'm here to help beginners and uphold the law. The game's rules, that is. Welcome, Rancher. I reached out my hand. The Sheriff looked me in the eye, smiled, and shook my hand. Not only will I answer your questions, but you'll receive something else. A welcome package and a pouch of coins for your farm. Cool, ain't it? Let's go down to the saloon and talk over a drink. What do you say? I don't have access to the saloon. Not a problem. With my invitation, you can enter any public building. Let's go. Might have a job for you that will get you something more than gold coins. Gamedec. Okay, this is taking an odd turn. Let's take a walk. Hope it doesn't lead to a shootout in the middle of the street. Hank, it's good to see you. How long till you're done? Just logged in, 6 weeks left. Howdy, Ben. How's that achievement going? You got it? Howdy, Sheriff. I'm about to crack the physics behind these bundles. Today's the day. It has to be. What is this achievement you're working on? The Great Pyramid of Bundles. I'll be the first player to get it. They vandalized Mr. Adams again. Okay. There's a saloon. You're blocked from accessing it, but we'll fix that little problem promptly. The sheriff typed a few commands into the game's interface. I saw that I now had access to the saloon. Be my guest. Not a bad trick. Oh, it's one of the privileges of being sheriff. I can grant access to the saloon to anyone I want. Maybe I should become sheriff then. First, let me ask you this. What's your poison? Whiskey? Let's just drink water. Bottoms up then. To the meeting. I'm telling you, friend, this stuff may be digital, but it tastes like the genuine article. It's phenomenal. Where would you like to begin? Well... You called me a Gamedec while we were in the graveyard. Why? Word travels fast. It's quite extraordinary having a Gamedec in High Rock. People get, excited. Curious why the Orange folk hired you. Well, I'm curious myself, but I respect that your investigation might require secrecy. On the other hand, I could help you. I know everyone here, you see. Who did you get this information from? Let's say someone noticed a new guy hanging around the public farm, asking questions. They texted me, I launched the game, here we are. Now that there's a Gamedec in my town, I'd love to offer her a job if she's interested in that. What kind of job? I have a feeling our goals overlap. High Rock has a problem with a certain player, the Outlaw. I've been informed that they might be involved in prohibited activities. I reported to the admins, but the Outlaw keeps coming back with new accounts. I need solid proof to ban them from this world for good. I know you're running an investigation. I think it's connected to the Outlaw. Could you share your observations? We could work together. I don't know about that. Fine, I won't go into details, but I can share some of my observations with you. I didn't want to tell him the truth, but I had to tread lightly with the lies so he would get wise to them. I was called here to investigate a case involving false admins. It's a rather delicate matter. A group of players gained access to developers' stacks, and I have to find out who they are. The sheriff's eyes went wide. Damn, that's really serious. And what did you make of it? What did they use their access for? They use it to duplicate rare items and auction them off for real cash. Damn, this could disrupt the game's economy. This could cost the Orange folk. It seemed like the sheriff was buying my little story. For now, I have nothing more to add. Took a sip of whiskey. Do you think the players you're looking for are still in the game? It's hard to say. I'm almost certain that the Outlaw is responsible for the Orange folks' problems. I've suspected that for a while now. They're a fraud duplicating rare items. This kind of machinations not only hurt the game's economy, but can also cause malfunctions of the game systems. If you agree to work with me, I'll tell you my plan to catch the Outlaw. You play a central role in it. Just one thing, I don't work for free. There's real money in it for you, after the job's done, that is. Gamedecs were generally paid upon completion of the job, so alright, let me work for you then. He offered what I usually charge for searching for someone in Virtualia. I nodded and realized he hadn't told me what the job actually was. We shook hands. We never signed contracts in my line of work. Alright, let's cut to the chase. First of all, I need you to confirm the Outlaw's location. When you do that, find out whether they work alone or have accomplices. Then we'll meet and draw up a detailed plan. Will you give me a deputy star? The sheriff burst out laughing. I don't have one on me, but since you care about it so much, I'll try to get one for you. What do we know about this Outlaw? I'm sure this player uses many different accounts and characters. Recently they've been known as the Outlaw. They were in some shady business with Black Rook, a known hacker and fraud who had been permabanned from the game. Rook did a lot of nasty stuff. He once hacked our banker, Mr. Adams, and gave him an insulting name. The next update should finally fix that. What are you going to do in the meantime, Sheriff? Going to collect evidence against the Outlaw and inform the admins about our plans. I also have some real-life obligations. Confirm whether or not that thug is still in their hideout, the Guild House. Oh, okay. Sheriff can't belong to guilds or enter their houses. Dumb, I know, but rules are rules. Just find out if the Outlaw works alone or not. That's all for now. We'll get to work. Wait for me in the saloon after you've found all the answers. I'll be there at nightfall, and we'll think up a plan. Oh, hold on. Let me give you the welcome package. The sheriff made several gestures and opened the game's options. Ah, welcome to harvest time. Please accept this humble gift. You received 3 mystery gifts. I can't wait to open them for you. Come to the ranch. You received a gift of 500 coins. Oh, great. You can use it to buy wonderful items, for example, from me. Let's meet up. Thanks, Sheriff. That's a very nice gesture. Pleasure is all mine, friend. It's time for me to go. I have things to do in Realium. Still had an obligation towards Stanley. Had to understand the Orange folks' problem. Wish you good luck. He extended his hands towards me. See you later, Sheriff. We'll meet at nightfall, Gamedec. Sheriff Billy tapped the brim of his hat and left the game. One of the women upstairs beckoned me and pointed at the stairs that ran along the saloon's outer wall. My name is Lea-Anne. We'd help each other. Let's meet behind the saloon. The woman Lea-Anne must have been listening in on our conversation. She wanted me to meet outside the saloon. Well now. Welcome to the High Rook Saloon. Can I get you anything? I remembered what Bob Zappa from TMP had told me. I had a chance to contact him through the bartender. I just needed to say the password. Looked at the bartender knowingly and whispered Mikoriza. The bartender's eye flashed green. I heard a familiar beep signal and the face of my old friend appeared before my eyes. Hey pal, I'm in a meeting, can't talk right now. I'll sense you when I'm done. It could take a while. Sure thing, later. I wondered if he remembered what he promised me. I don't even know what he promised me. I have no idea. Can we ask him to play a specific song? No. Can't speak to any of these people. Can we walk up here? Doesn't look like it. So we are supposed to meet here. Let's talk, Gamedec. Okay. The woman looked noble and serious, though she kept looking around as though she was afraid of something. When she noticed me, her face took on an imperious look. You're a Gamedec, aren't you? Yes, I'm working on a certain case here. Accidentally overheard your conversation with the sheriff, and I think I might have a simple but lucrative job for you. Yeah, sure, let's give me more jobs. I'd like you to provide me with intel about the sheriff, who he is, what he does, how many zeros he has in his bank account, and so on. Anything you can tell me about his life in Realium will be useful. Can I count on your help? Why do you need this information? Considering entering into a financial arrangement with this person, I'd like to make sure he's solvent and trustworthy, that's all. Sure. Wonderful, once you acquire this information, please come to the guild house, I'll be waiting for you there. Tell Rusty Ed that you work for me, he'll invite you to the guild. Suddenly felt the air move as if someone had walked right past me, but nobody was there. I resumed the conversation with Lea-Anne. I'm terribly sorry, got a bit distracted for a moment. Yeah, I noticed. Well, I think that will be all. Unless you have more questions. What do you know about the sheriff? I heard that he's respected here. Everyone speaks very highly of him. What's your opinion? True, he's quite formidable. Fair enough, in that case, I'll wait for hard facts. What do you do in harvest time? The woman bursts out laughing. What I've been doing? I used to run a prosperous farm. I was on top of the leaderboards. Now I'm mostly here for the people. This community is one of a kind. Sadly, you can't trust everyone, which is why I asked for your help. Okay, so Rusty Ad. So that's gonna give me access to the guild hall at very least. Let us first return to Beaufort and tell them about the work I did for them. Where are you, Beaufort? Took the boxes to Betty. Awesome, thank you. Farmer went back to work. Okay. Collect intel on the sheriff? Sure. Question is, however, how are we supposed to do that? So, who is the sheriff? What if I open that? I don't have any data on him yet. Who is Lea-Anne? Yeah, so I don't have enough clues to do that. I'm wondering actually if I can log out and do research at home. Is that an option, or do you have to stay inside of the game? Who's this guy? Dirty scumbags. God, I hate them lousy freeloaders. It's a darts boot. How about a game? Don't fuck with me. This minigame was my favorite pastime in Harvest. I was the best. I got all the achievements. I beat everyone. No cheating. I was famous in all of Harvest. And you know what? Fucking devs screwed the game over with the latest patch because it wasn't making enough money. Greedy fuckers. Yeah. Nice meeting you, buddy. Howdy, stranger. I'm Hank, and I have the honor of being the gravedigger in this sunny establishment. And I don't sell coffins, so don't ask. I'm new here. Mind if we talk? Oh lord, if you have questions about the game, talk to Handy Joe by the platform. If you're interested in other topics, we can chat. Can you tell me something about the residents? No one dies, so I rarely get to speak to them. Besides, I don't like to gossip. I prefer to look at the sky. It's so beautiful. You stand here for days on end. You must see things others miss, like players who aren't here to just play the game. Just a minute ago, my old friend was pestering me for some stuff and got nothing. Haven't seen her in-game for months, and now she shows up as Lea-Anne. I think it was Lea-Anne. She just starts convincing me to, never mind. We've just met, so I'll explain something to you. Nothing, fucking nothing upsets me more than a guy who leaves a story hanging. You get me? He puts his hands on his belly in a defensive gesture. Alright, I'll tell you, it's no secret, jeez. She was looking for whales, once with real money. She wanted to find someone to bankroll her business in Realium. She was asking about cheap bank loans. I'm not Electrobank staff in here, I'm a gravedigger. And I won't talk about work. I'm on leave. To be honest, she looked desperate. You're a gravedigger, not a farmer. How did you get that role in the game? My farm is frozen right now. I need to work a town profession for a year to unlock the town resident achievement. Gravedigger gig happened to be available. The work is peaceful. It's basically world building and nobody dies since they removed PvP. When it gets boring, I pop out to Realium to buy baby stuff. Can't even sleep in game, but my folks grumble about it. Runny nose, you know. This town resident achievement takes some dedication. You have to be in harvest time for that long, for a year? If I'm not in game, players can report my absence. Then the scripts check it and decide if I can continue in this role. Last month my activity dropped a little because of the divorce. I was moving in with my folks, I got reported and lost the role. Sheriff Billy vouched for me. He's the reason I kept my progress. He's a great man, believe me. Decent citizen indeed. Hank nodded, smiled, and stroked his belly. The world needs more people like him. They make a better place. Suddenly felt a strange presence a few steps away from me. I noticed some movement out of the corner of my eye. The air was shimmering, the way it does on hot days. It looked like a shadow generated by the game's engine. Shadow of a human. It could have been a bug or an invisible player. As Gamedec, I couldn't ignore these kinds of phenomena. I resumed the conversation with the gravedigger. Sorry, Hank, I saw something. You did just look like you've seen a ghost. Huh. So what do you do in the real world? I work for Electrobank. I mean, I'm living with my parents now. I'm on their old couch as we speak. I'm pregnant, so I'm on leave. Congratulations on the pregnancy, Hank. I didn't realize you had a uterus. Well, I'm a man and I don't have a uterus. I meant Cynthia, my beloved. Doesn't consider me manly enough, which is why we got a divorce. Gave her the apartment and she transferred the pregnancy to me. What? How? Your wife transferred the pregnancy to you? You don't have a uterus and you're with child? Where? Man, dinosaurs walk among us. I'm not organically pregnant. My boy is an exutor, an external uterus, at the White Cloud Clinic. Oh, right. He feels my actual movements, hears me like he would a real uterus. He can sense light if I'm in the sun. Recently got an upgrade. Now my little bud can feel virtual movements in sensory worlds. He sees light, hears sounds, all of it. So I'm lounging in harvest time, enjoying nature and fresh air. It's good for the baby. Yeah. My eye was caught by the reflection on a tombstone. It wasn't smooth enough to reflect anything clearly. I looked at the gravedigger's tools and wondered what holographic epitaph I'd have liked to see over my tombstone. I wanted an epic one. Life is a fight we are meant to lose, but that doesn't mean we shouldn't fight. That's what makes life worth living, pushing back against the waves. That's good stuff. I have to carve it on one of my stones. Hey, Bob Zappa. Alright, I managed to get out of that meeting, but I'm on my way to the next one. Tell me, what's this about? Could you give me the maximum level in harvest time? Come on, I can't. I'd lose my job if that got out. Use some gold. Can you generate that for me? Not in my power, friend. I can transfer you some from my account, though. I don't play anymore, so I don't mind. Give me a second. 13,000? Whoop whoop. There you go, have fun. Are we cool now? I'm conducting an investigation. I need intel on a certain player. Ooh, that's not gonna fly. This kind of data is usually restricted. I can't help you myself, but I'll ask some friends. Who's this about? The sheriff, the outlaw, Lea-Anne. They're from the High Rock region. Any information would help. Every detail matters here. Sure, I'll ask around. I'll sense you as soon as I find anything. Later. Wow, okay. Let's see. I think we did speak to someone else. Or at least when I was walking with the sheriff. Cowgirl was standing to a horse, paid no attention to me. Pretzel, my precious, you want some hay? Morning, can I ask? Can't you see I'm talking to Pretzel? Yes, I can see. Is Pretzel a, It's my horsey, I'm tending to him now, come back later. Right. I thought we spoke to someone. Let me take a look at this. Oh yeah, I can still not hack the bot. That's a pity. That is a pity. So we still don't really have any data here. What does that do? I suspect she's a cheater, trying to con suckers in harvest time. However, I don't think she's to blame for the orange folks' problems. Lea-Anne is the real victim. She seems lost, is asking for help. Yeah, that's not really responsible for the orange folk problems. That it doesn't look like it for now. We don't know anything about the outlaw just yet. So it doesn't look like I can actually log out of the game. I do have 13,000 gold, so I am gonna get myself a gun from... what's her name? Something something in... in my farm. My helping Molly. I didn't mean to click there. Ah, Poppy, not Molly. Well, that was close. Okay, let me spruce up my farm. I want gardening tools. Shining with wrought steel polish through endless gardening. These tools are the mark of a true farmer. Show them off when someone visits. Sure. See those tools gleam in the sunlight? Now you can parade them in front of other farmers. Respect and status, that's what it is. Let me get a cat. Okay, great. Develop my farm. What can I buy again? Finally put up a fence around the pasture. In that case, we're ready to get some cows. Okay. But where is the option where I can purchase stuff? What do we have inside of the chests? Decorative item, the skull of a bison from Dead Canyon. Okay. Pouch of gold coins. And more gold coins. Okay, that's odd. Because before I could ask her to purchase things. I still don't have a fence, I think. That's quite a lot of stuff I have going on here, to be honest. Let me see. So, is this ad? This is Happy Joe. Let me summon Wild Poppy to help. This is the guild house. It's for guild members only, but you know that. To start a guild you need a premium account. Poppy explained all of the joys that came with having your own guild. The cost of starting one was on par with a new mobile. Show me the list of players in the area, ones who can accept new members. It's Rusty Ed. He's literally a few steps away from us. I'm going back to the farm. Waiting you there. Hey, I'm in a meeting, but I went to the bathroom, sensing you from a stall. Cool, huh? You didn't have to tell me that. Did you get anything? A friend from customer service dug up some data about these players. I didn't get a proper look yet. I'll just read it out for you. I, Bob, looked into the sheriff guy. Suspicious stuff. It seems he's using some kind of cheat, a speed boost or timer manipulator. The sheriff's account is registered to a man called Mr. Lepsky, and Lea-Anne's real name is Nanette Doucette. Now listen, the guy is a manager in her organization, Nanette's Foundation. I checked their in-game profiles and there's not a single interaction between them, as if they didn't know they both play. Curious, huh? My guy from Hacks gained access to the vPress cloud and found a record featuring Mr. Lepsky and Nanette, transcript enclosed. You owe me. You owe me big time. I owe him, that is, not you. Anyway, I have to go back to the meeting. Is this any good? What about the outlaw? Right, I forgot. It's a new anonymous account. If they're not registered within the first week, they get automatically deleted. I was expecting more, I don't know, personal information, addresses, point of entry, so on. That's confidential data, I doubt they store it in my company's open database. Besides, you're a Gamedec, make do, see ya. I see. Rusty Ed, where are you, buddy? This is Happy Joe. That is Walla. The women were involved in a lively conversation, didn't grace me with a glance. Stood aside and listened. The ledge it grew on collapsed, that's why there's no trace of it. Cosmic tree, Axis Mundi, the tree of good and evil, the tree of knowing. Symbol is present in every culture. The Vikings, Australian tribes, Christian and Slavic myths. It's everywhere. Sorry, could I, The women kept working without paying attention to me. One of the women looked at me haughtily, sized me up and gave me some gestures in the game menu. I noticed the message in front of my eyes. Players Jira and Walla added you to their ignore list. Have fun playing. I see. Is that Rusty Ed? Yes, it is. Long beard, dust on his shoulders. He looked like he'd been gathering that dust for a decade. Hey, I'm a Gamedec and I'm the guildmaster of Rusty Ed's guild. Just a fun fact. Wanna ask an old-timer about farming tricks? Go ahead, Rusty Ed has a lot of stories up his sleeve. Are you the guildmaster of Rusty Ed's guild? I am. It's a guild open to all players of adequate level. What level do I need to be at? In order to join Rusty Ed's guild, you need to listen to 3 daily stories. Could you admit me to your guild? Lea-Anne said you could sign me up. Yes, I can, if you listen to 3 of my stories. It's the rule in Rusty Ed's guild. Okay then. I've got 3 stories today. The topics are a legendary artifact, how I became sheriff, and old game systems. Which one do you want to hear? How about the legendary artifact stuff? Alright, it was about a decade ago an event was announced that would last all year, a year. It was said that one of the loot boxes would contain the legend of Harvest Time, the artifact jewel, and still remember it. It was a house in the game, House of Happiness. It was covered in flowers. It boosted the joy neurotransmitters of whoever was in it. That sort of software can cause an addiction. Did they warn anyone about it? I don't know much about it. But let me tell you one thing, a lot more was allowed in games back then compared to today. So there was this player, Dad Godiva, who sold his apartment, everything he had to improve his chances. He spent a lot of money on boosts. That's how we got that treasure. The house is still hovering somewhere in the game, in Elysium. He settled here, in Harvest Time. He became a zoonet. He only had enough money to keep his brain alive for a few months. Even while he was dying, he kept smiling. Okay, let me grab another fire, hopefully. That story was so lame, almost bored me to death. I'm no longer the skilled storyteller I used to be. Okay, now that you've listened to my story, I can answer your questions. Tell me another one. You have any other systems here? The old man closed his eyes and smiled. It used to be a game with ambitions. It was all about portraying someone genuine, physical labor, soil, dirt. Things you don't get in Realium. You took our spade, you know. There were roots in the ground you had to dig through. There were snails now and then. You grabbed them and either threw them onto your neighbor's field or you killed them. I hate snails. So working on a farm was hard, alright? People said that they had muscle aches after going back to Realium. That was neurotransmissions at work. You visualized your garden, and got lost in the work, digging up dirt, sweating, and then seeing the end product of months of work. It was therapeutic. And upon player request, the devs started making it easier. They removed fatigue, sped up plant growth, got rid of adverse weather. They introduced premium accounts, subscriptions, microtransactions, and all that was left of the game was the box. Games change according to trends and audience preferences. There are still worlds like Happy Hunting Grounds with full-on simulation. Trends, schmans, moneymakers got their hands on it and it turned something that mattered to players into something that mattered to them. I've talked enough, I can answer your questions now, go ahead. Okay, let me ask for the last story. Corpses still lie on couches, mine at my place, yours at your place, and sometimes it's all about speed here, especially with duels. But I mean, your neuronal speed, not bodily. If you want to be sheriff, you must beat the previous one, you must be faster, more precise. In situations like this, it's also important how to handle your emotions. The hothead will lose, the one who starts sweating, fidgeting, whose heart is pounding so hard it makes their hands shake. Those with more experience win. Simple as that. Oh, you're a real hellraiser, so listen, you like this. This guy was good, everyone could see it, but I noticed something. He would enter the game for up to 3 hours, maybe 4. It was always like that, but once he lingered playing poker. It was 6 hours, 7, guess what? The guy was staggering, dropping off. I noticed his fragile brain, quick, but easily fatigued. It was his vulnerability. Next time I played him myself, kept letting him win. I challenged him to a sunset duel. After he had spent 12 hours here, couldn't turn it down, that's the rule. He was good, but I could see it in his eyes that he had already lost. His eyelids were twitching from the adrenaline rush. It's not adrenaline. Human eyelids are innervated by 2 motor nerves, autonomous and autonomic, part of the sympathetic nervous system. When you're tired, the latter turns off and your eyelids droop. Even though you consciously try to raise them, he was just exhausted. So he wouldn't give up without a fight. He knew that would insult me. Don't get me wrong, he was a good guy. He knew I discovered his weakness. Maybe if he had money, he could have paid to get his neurons enhanced. Maybe that's what the poker was for. Never saw him again here. Maybe he had a breakdown. Was he fed up with this quick fatigue? That bothered me a bit. Anyway, I was sheriff here for a full month before I lost the duel. But I've never forgotten that guy. He had a nice vintage nick. Killed them all. Oh, really? Yeah, I saw that guy in Twisted and Perverted. Killed them all, I've met him. Our paths crossed in the Twisted and Perverted world. Really? Hot damn, well, I'm glad he's still holding up. Alright, I suspect you want to ask me some questions now, go ahead. Could you admit me to your guild now, finally? Sure, you listen to my stories, I can see you're not a member of any other guilds, just a minute. Here, welcome to Rusty Ed's Guild, make sure to read the terms and conditions, it's just 1 sentence, be nice. You're now a member of Rusty Ed's Guild, thus you get access to the guild house, where you'll find tons of attractions. Guild house is available from level 15, so get on your farm and level up. Don't worry about the levels, my guild runs on principles from 20 years ago, when there was no such limitation, the house is open. Always like to see it come and go, it's the appeal of old games. So what are you doing here, Grams? There are still curious people in the world, I mean people that possess the virtue of curiosity. I'll tell you. I look at these young players and I can see they don't know a thing. And you know what they do about it? They ask experienced players for help? Yeah, right, they never ask. They always know better. Played this game for years, I've achieved everything, I know everything, no one asks me a goddamn thing. I see them growing carrots and I know that they'll grow faster with a barrel of ice beside them. Does anyone ask? No, you know why. You tell me, Ed. The Dunning-Kruger effect. Rookies overrate their knowledge, mentors undersell theirs. The world is changing too, especially this game. It all used to be more true to life, more difficult. And those scallywag youngsters would get their bums rush. But I digress. And I bet you there's something you want to talk to me about, isn't there? Maybe you want to hear a story? Lovely weather. But that's now how it used to be. Changing seasons, rain, storms. Now it's just sun all the time. That's what the players wanted. They were fed up with the rain. Fancy that. I could tell you lots of stories. So, tell me about the sheriff. Do you know that Billy guy? He's been nagging me lately, asking me to admit him to the guild. Him and those two loyal coy boys of his. You know, that coy boy Aki and Mad Dog. Although the latter doesn't come here often. Okay, so the sheriff and Aki are working together. But I refuse every time they ask. I don't trust them. Keep that to yourself. Okay, can you tell me about Lea-Anne? Get the impression you knew her. I do, from way back, but I can't tell you anything because that's not polite to gossip. I'm conducting an investigation here. I'm trying to help other players. Just want to know who she is. I need that information. Well, if you're helping others, Lea-Anne is a new character, a friend of mine. She came back to Harvest Time after a lengthy hiatus. She heads the Net Foundation in Realium. It's an organization that protects children. She's a good, honest person. That's all I can say. Yeah, now I'd like to take a nap. As I was leaving, Ed flinched suddenly. As if he'd felt a prickling sensation, I felt a chill. I felt a strange presence that had haunted me before. I knew I had to investigate it. There are two tools I could use. Enter Mirror could pierce through the cloak, while Pain Ping launched a painful jamming impulse. Let's use the Enter Mirror. I opened my deck, launched Enter Mirror, and turned it towards the supposed presence. I recognized the human silhouette without a material avatar. The structure of the cloaking coat seemed familiar, but I couldn't say why. After a while, the shape disappeared. I knew that if I caught this ghost, I'd be able to examine it more closely, maybe even talk to it. I went back to Ed. Ed was sleeping like a log. Right. Now I should be able to get Cheater. Yes. I don't meet the requirements of other things. Well, I can get Infotainer as well. But I wanted to get Cheater. There are many programs in your deck that help you solve problems in Virtualia. In games you don't struggle with opening locks, you bypass obstacles impervious to other players with your cheats. You con entire game systems, you cheat. Let's grab that. Okay, so now we are gonna go to the guild here, but I'm gonna do that in the next episode. If you're enjoying the content, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel if you want to follow along. Thanks a lot for watching, and I will see you in the next episode.